Preacher captivating audiences across generations. But nearly 40 years later, where are the stars who brought this gritty tale to life? In this special feature, we take a look at the cast of Pale Rider, then and now, 2025. From legendary performances to surprising life paths, see how time has transformed the actors behind the classic. Some will amaze you, others might break your heart. Don't miss this nostalgic journey through Hollywood history. Clint Eastwood, who portrayed Preacher in Pale Rider, was 55 during the film's release in 1985. His character, a silent, vengeful protector, became an enduring Western icon. Off-screen, Eastwood's life has seen both triumph and heartbreak. He's been married twice, most notably to Dina Ruiz, and is known to have fathered at least 8 children, including Allison, Francesca, and Scott, from multiple relationships. Despite his legendary status, his personal relationships were often strained due to his serial infidelity and demanding career. Several of his children have spoken about their complicated bond with him, citing emotional distance. He faced public scrutiny, bitter custody disputes, and lawsuits over the years. Professionally, after Pale Rider, Eastwood faced harsh criticism for some directorial choices, but made a comeback with Unforgiven. Now at 94, he lives a reclusive life in Carmel, California. Despite his fame, his twilight years have been marked by loneliness and declining health. His estate is estimated at $375 million, amassed from decades of directing, acting, and business ventures. Eastwood, though still revered, remains haunted by unresolved family tensions and the price of cinematic greatness. Michael Moriarty, who played Hull Barrett, the kind-hearted and conflicted prospector in Pale Rider, was 44 years old during filming. He brought a vulnerable yet hopeful energy to the role. Moriarty's career took a tumultuous path afterward. Though he found brief success on Law and Order, he publicly clashed with network executives and left the U.S., citing political censorship. He relocated to Canada, which further isolated him from mainstream Hollywood. His personal life was just as turbulent. He was married 3 times. His longest marriage to Suzanne Sennett ended in divorce, and he had one son, Matthew, with his second wife, whom he rarely sees today. He battled alcoholism for decades, resulting in arrests and public outbursts. Financial difficulties plagued him during the 2000s. At one point, he was reportedly living in a modest apartment in British Columbia. Though he remains active in music and small theater productions, Moriarty, now 83, has faded from the spotlight. His estimated assets are under $250,000. Despite his brilliance, he is often remembered more for controversy than acclaim, a tragic arc for a man once poised for greatness. Carrie Snodgrass, who played Sarah Wheeler, the resilient frontier woman torn between loyalty and longing, was 39 during the filming. Her nuanced performance drew praise, but her personal life was fraught with turmoil. Once nominated for an Oscar, her career dimmed as she stepped away from Hollywood to raise her son Zeke, whom she had with musician Neil Young. Their relationship was rocky and ended in bitter custody battles. Later, she endured a physically and emotionally abusive relationship with musician Jack Nish. Financial instability followed. She took sporadic roles just to make ends meet. She was estranged from her son during her final years and struggled with liver and heart issues. Snodgrass died on April 1, 2004, at age 58, from heart and liver failure while awaiting a liver transplant. At the time of her death, she was living alone in a rented home and had an estimated net worth of only $50,000. Her life, once full of promise, was ultimately overshadowed by sacrifice, disappointment, and a longing for redemption that never fully came. Chris Penn, who portrayed Josh LaHood, the violent and entitled son of a corrupt mining baron, was only 20 years old during Pale Rider's release. His raw, aggressive energy made his character unforgettable. Off-screen, Penn lived in the long shadow of his brother Sean, battling his own demons. Though he found acclaim in roles like Reservoir Dogs, his promising career was derailed by substance abuse, weight struggles, and erratic behavior. He never married but had several tumultuous relationships, including a broken engagement to actress Devon Odessa. He had no children. Penn was reportedly depressed in his later years, feeling overshadowed by his more successful peers. He became reclusive, often isolating himself for weeks. On January 24, 2006, he was found dead in his Santa Monica condo due to an enlarged heart and multiple drug toxicities. He was just 40 years old. His estate, entangled in debt and unpaid taxes, was estimated at under $100,000. Penn's life, filled with talent and potential, was ultimately consumed by excess and emotional pain. Richard Dysart, who portrayed the ruthless mining magnate Coy LaHood in Pale Rider, was 56 at the time of filming. His portrayal of a cold and calculating antagonist gave the film one of its most memorable villains. Off-camera, Dysart led a career filled with critical acclaim, particularly for his role in LA Law. However, his personal life was quieter but marked by private sadness. He married Catherine Jacoby, a visual artist, and though they stayed together until his death, they never had children, a void that reportedly caused unspoken sorrow between them. Dysart suffered several personal losses, including the deaths of his two siblings in close succession during the 1990s, which led to long bouts of depression. He was diagnosed with cancer in 2013 and spent his final years in Santa Monica, largely out of the public eye. He passed away on April 5, 2015, at the age of 86. His estate was estimated to be around $1.5 million, primarily from his acting earnings and modest investments. Despite his achievements, Dysart's final years were marked by illness, fading public memory, and lingering regret over a distant relationship with his estranged brother. Sydney Penny, who played the young and impressionable Megan Wheeler, was only 13 when she stepped into the role that would briefly launch her into stardom. Her portrayal of a girl caught between childhood and a mysterious affection for the preacher brought both innocence and depth to the film. After Pale Rider, Penny enjoyed brief success in soap operas like All My Children, but her transition to adult roles was rocky. She married Robert Powers, an artist, in 1995, and they had one son, Chasen. However, their marriage quietly fell apart in 2012 due to irreconcilable differences and rumors of emotional neglect. Penny faced career stagnation, leading her to accept lower-budget independent films and voice acting roles just to maintain financial stability. Now 53, she lives modestly in North Carolina, working part-time in production and occasionally teaching acting classes. Though she avoids the public eye, she has admitted in rare interviews to suffering from depression and feelings of failure. Her estimated net worth is around $300,000. Once a rising child star, Penny now lives a reclusive life, far from the lights that once promised so much. Richard Kiel, who portrayed the gentle giant Club in Pale Rider, was 46 during the film's production. Known for his towering 7'1" stature, Kiel brought unexpected warmth to the role, a henchman who questions his loyalty. Though widely recognized for playing Jaws in the James Bond films, Kiel struggled to find meaningful roles afterward, often typecast due to his size. He married Diane Rogers in 1974, and they had 4 children, Richard Jr., Bennett, Christopher, and Jennifer. While his marriage remained intact, his family life was challenging. Kiel faced chronic pain from acromegaly and severe injuries from a 1992 car crash that confined him to a wheelchair. These issues limited his work opportunities and led to bouts of depression and frustration. Despite these challenges, Kiel tried to stay positive, engaging in Christian ministry and writing an autobiography. He passed away on September 10, 2014, at the age of 74 from a heart attack following a fall. At the time of his death, his estate was estimated at $500,000. Though fondly remembered for his roles, Kiel's final years were marked by physical decline, professional stagnation, and a quiet withdrawal from the industry he once commanded. Doug McGrath, who portrayed the loyal and good-natured prospector Spider Conway, was 50 in Pale Rider. His character served as a symbol of camaraderie and perseverance amidst frontier greed. McGrath's career included steady but low-profile work in Canadian cinema and television, yet he never quite achieved stardom. He married his high school sweetheart, Elaine McInnes, in the early 1960s, and they had 2 children, Neil and Joanna. Their marriage endured, though not without strain. His long stints on set and frequent financial insecurity caused years of tension. After retiring from acting in the early 2000s, McGrath retreated to a quiet life in Vancouver. Now 90, he lives in a modest assisted living facility, rarely making public appearances. Though mentally sharp, he has outlived many colleagues and mourns their losses privately. His estimated net worth is under $200,000, with most of his income coming from residuals and a small pension. He remains largely forgotten in Hollywood circles, a reminder of the many journeyman actors whose dedication never led to fortune or fame. Charles Hallahan, who portrayed McGill, the hard-working miner and pale rider, was 42 during filming. McGill's loyalty and hard-working nature were core to the film's theme of perseverance. Hallahan's own life mirrored his character's toughness but was marked by struggles outside of his acting career. While he had a successful television and film career, Hallahan faced significant personal challenges. He married his college sweetheart, Rosemary, and they had 2 children, David and Rachel. Unfortunately, their marriage ended after 22 years due to his long absences from home and emotional distance. Though Hallahan was devoted to his children, the strain of his failed marriage and a lack of recognition for his stage work caused him stress in his later years. Tragically, Hallahan died of a heart attack on November 25, 1997, at the age of 54, during a period when he was finally starting to gain more recognition in Hollywood. His estate, primarily consisting of earnings from his television roles, was valued at under $1 million at the time of his death. Despite his untimely passing, he was remembered as a steadfast actor, although his personal life was marred by regret and loneliness in his final years. John Russell, who portrayed Stockburn, the corrupt marshal in Pale Rider, was 64 years old when the film was released. His role as a villainous lawman was both chilling and unforgettable. However, his personal life was far less dramatic than the characters he portrayed. Russell was married twice, first to actress Adele Mara, with whom he had 2 children, Michael and Kathy. Their marriage ended in divorce after 12 years. He then married Barbara, with whom he spent the remainder of his life. The couple had no children together. Despite a long and steady career in westerns, Russell's post-Pale Rider years were filled with financial difficulties. His marriage, while stable, was often strained due to his struggles with alcoholism, which affected his career as well. Russell passed away from complications of cancer on January 19, 1991, at the age of 70. His estate, although modest, was estimated at $250,000. Although his legacy lives on through his iconic Western roles, his personal life was shadowed by his battles with addiction and the financial strain that followed. Marvin J. McIntyre, who portrayed the miner Jigu in Pale Rider, was 38 at the time of filming. His role, though minor, added to the gritty atmosphere of the film. McIntyre's career had mostly consisted of supporting roles in television and film, and he was known for his work on various westerns. Personally, McIntyre's life took a tragic turn after Pale Rider. He married his longtime partner, Linda, and they had 3 children, Peter, John, and Ellie. However, McIntyre's career was never able to fully take off, and he struggled financially throughout much of his life. The constant pressure of supporting a family while not achieving the success he hoped for in Hollywood caused significant stress in his marriage, leading to a painful divorce in the late 1990s. McIntyre died of lung cancer on April 10, 2017, at the age of 78. At the time of his death, his estate was valued at just $100,000. Although he was surrounded by family, McIntyre's life was filled with regret over missed opportunities and the strain of trying to make a name for himself in a tough industry. Fran Ryan, who portrayed the strong-willed Ma Blankenship in Pale Rider, was 69 years old at the time of filming. Her character, a woman who fights to protect her family and land, resonated deeply with audiences. Ryan, a seasoned character actress, had a career spanning over 4 decades, but her personal life was far from the enduring strength she displayed on screen. She was married twice, first to actor James Whitmore Jr., with whom she had one son, Michael. Her first marriage ended in divorce, and she later married James Ryan. Despite her professional success, Ryan's personal life was a constant struggle. She was often distant from her children, especially as she spent long hours on set and in rehearsals, leading to strained relationships. In her later years, she faced financial hardships, struggling with a lack of retirement savings and limited work opportunities. Ryan passed away on January 15, 2000, at the age of 83 due to complications from heart disease. At the time of her death, her estate was valued at $500,000, primarily from her long career in television and film. She is remembered fondly by fans for her steady career, but her personal life was marked by loneliness and financial instability. Richard Hamilton, who portrayed Jed Blankenship, the prospector in Pale Rider, was 65 when the film was released. His portrayal of a man struggling to survive in a harsh world reflected his own challenges in life. Hamilton had been married twice, first to actress Helen Hart, with whom he had 2 children, Sally and James. His second marriage to Linda Hawkins lasted over 30 years, but it was marked by his struggle with alcohol addiction, which put a strain on the relationship. Despite these challenges, Hamilton managed to keep his career afloat, taking smaller roles in television and theater, but never achieving the level of fame he had hoped for. The toll of his addiction affected his family life deeply, with his children reporting periods of estrangement during his battles with alcoholism. He died on December 21, 2004, at the age of 85. His estate was valued at just $150,000, much of which went to pay off debts. Hamilton's career, though filled with solid performances, was overshadowed by personal demons that ultimately led to his financial difficulties and a quiet, lonely death. Billy Drago, who portrayed Deputy Mather, the menacing enforcer in Pale Rider, was 39 years old during filming. His performance as a ruthless, yet tragic character left a lasting impression on audiences. Drago's career was largely defined by roles as villains or criminals, though he had a range of abilities that went largely unnoticed by Hollywood. His personal life was as complex as his characters. He married actress and producer Carol V. McGrath in the early 1980s, and the couple had 2 children, Adam and Mary. Unfortunately, their marriage was plagued by Drago's struggle with addiction, which led to public arguments and emotional distance. The couple divorced in the late 1990s, and Drago never remarried. Despite ongoing work in film and television, his career never reached the heights many had expected. He faced financial instability for much of his life, and by the time of his passing, he was living in a modest home in the San Fernando Valley. Drago passed away on June 24, 2019, at the age of 73 due to complications from a stroke. At the time of his death, his estate was valued at approximately $2 million, much of it earned from his extensive television and film career. Though loved by his peers for his professionalism, Drago's life was marked by internal struggles and an unfulfilled promise of greater success. Who is your favorite character from Pale Rider? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.